Hey guys, so yeah, it is Thursday, February 6th, 2025. It is 2:47 p.m. Pacific time. And this morning, it was teased yesterday when I was talking about this in a video. I was talking about this in an audio video. I think it was when I was talking about the MeTV Tunes thing. Basically, a little bit of a 10-second teaser was dropped to promote the trailer that was coming out today for the new Smurfs movie starring Rihanna as Smurfette. And it did drop, and a lot of us did see it. I saw it. And to say it's got a very mixed reaction, kind of leaning more towards, negative thumbs down than positive, kind of like I would say 55% to 50, or 55-50, if you will, more, like I said, leaning towards the thumbs down negative reaction. To say, people are in that category of very mixed in that sense would be an understatement. I mean, there are some that enjoyed the trailer, don't get me wrong. But there were some that just didn't like it. I mean, especially with the fact that pretty much it feels like they're taking the same concept they did with the first two movies and trying to mix in elements of the third movie. Now here's the thing. I mention this because one, I do have all three films. I do have all three films, as you'll see throughout this audio video, if you're watching on YouTube. But basically, I have all three films. And as you can see, like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, but if you're listening on podcasting, then again, you can only see what I'm talking about on YouTube. Check out the YouTube channel, if you will, at BW Rosas. But anyway, like I said, there are some people looking at the fact that the first two films have been kind of like I guess you could say the plot, or at least the setting, if you will, has been integrated into this new one, but the animation has been basically inspired by the third film, the old animated film, The Lost Village. It's been inspired, kind of updated a little bit for this one. But the other thing that really got on people, and John Campio is like one of these people that talked about this, was you look at the Smurfs that were featured in the trailer. Now, of course, like I said, you have Smurfette, you have Papa Smurf, you have Grouchy. You're going to have Brainy in there, obviously. You're going to have Vanity Smurf and so on. But one Smurf that got introduced is a new Smurf called Influencer Smurf. And this really got under some people's skin, including John Campio. Like, really? Influencer Smurf and everything? And then, of course, you have Papa Smurf in the trailer beaten down, on the record, kind of, doing a DJ kind of thing with the record, spinning the record. And it's like, what is going on here? And then you take a look at what, the trailer is trying to promote as far as what the movie's going to be. And again, like I said, you kind of see what that mixed reaction of, really, we're going to go down this path again, but we're doing it in this sense. Basically, you could tell that it's a movie that basically could be one of those that don't judge a book by its cover kind of deal. Like, just because the trailer may make the movie feel like it's going to be, a repeat, in a sense, to the first two films with the animation inspired by the third film, just because you think it's going to be in that category doesn't mean the movie won't be good. Because there have been trailers, and many have brought this up, there have been trailers to films to where to where the trailer makes the movie look like it's going to be bad, but when you see the movie, it turns out to be good. So I would look at this and kind of say, don't judge it just yet until you see it. But I will say this, honestly, I think this Smurfs movie, it's got John Goodman, it's got Nick Offerman, it's got Rihanna, and many other names, Kurt Russell and so on, and voicing characters. But here's the issue with it. It's going to be destroyed. And I'm not talking it's going to get destroyed by critics and all that. No. It's going to get destroyed by box office. That's right, by box office. Because here's what's happening. July, of course, is my birthday. So it's going to be a very, very happy birthday month for me and my oldest nephew. It's going to be a very happy birthday month for us. Because, one, you have on July 11th, Fantastic Four First Steps. I want to see that. Looks really good. Then come, a little while later, you have Superman. Oh, wait a minute, Superman. No. Superman is July 11th. Fantastic Four First Steps is on my birthday, believe it or not. So, July 11th, like I said, Superman is going to come out on July 11th. Then on July 25th, my birthday, Fantastic Four First Steps. So, as far as superhero movies go, very busy month. Very busy month. And then, sandwiched in between, you have Jurassic Park Rebirth. Jurassic Park Rebirth. Now, they haven't given a date. They haven't given a date as to when it's coming out. But one could assume it's going to be 4th of July weekend, because that's the only other opening date I can think of that they can go unchallenged with the film. That's the only other date I think they can go unchallenged with their film. So you're looking at every week in July being very, very busy and very profitable for the theatrical cinemas, if you know what I mean. But then we get to July 18th. Now, unless Jurassic Park Rebirth comes out at the same day, the Smurfs are going to have that day to themselves, but still, with that said, the Smurfs, even if they have July 18th to themselves, they're in trouble, financially, box office-wise. Because if Superman, James Gunn's Superman, does big box office numbers the week prior, people are going to come back to see that again. And 2 weeks, and then a week later, you have Fantastic Four. The Smurfs, unfortunately, are not going to last very long in the theaters. I'm going to project that before members of my family go back to work in August, because they do get summer break off, before they go back to work in August, mid-August, I guarantee you're going to see Fandango at Home, which was formerly Vudu. You're going to see Prime Video. You're going to see Apple TV. You're going to see Google Play. You're going to see Xfinity, Verizon, Spectrum, all of them that have on-demand services where you can buy or rent a movie. You're going to see them all advertising within a month or less than a month of the movie's release in theaters. You're going to see them advertising it for rental or purchase digitally on their platforms. And then come September, as much as Paramount may not want to do this because they have rules and restrictions, apparently for right now, Paramount's going to release the film on their streaming platform. Guaranteed. Because I think they're going to realize, they look at what's going to be competing against them in July, and yeah, they're probably realizing the best rate of success for them is to get it in the theaters, let it simmer for about a month or a little less, get it out there digitally for rental or purchase, and then get it on the streaming platform within basically the first, I would say, 60 days of its debut. That's what I think is going to happen, and I probably won't be wrong on that, whatsoever. I probably won't be wrong in that whatsoever. But, when I look at this trailer, again, I understand the mixed reaction. I really do. I understand the mixed reaction. I get that people, are leaning more towards the thumbs down, negative and stuff. But again, it's one of those situations where, even John Campea and others have said, pretty much don't judge a book by its cover. Because they have said they have seen trailers where, the trailer may make the movie look bad, but the movie itself turns out to be tremendous. So that might be the same case here, with the Smurfs. Remember, when that first trailer for Transformers 1 came out, people didn't think Transformers 1 was going to be a success. Then they did another trailer or two, kind of eased up their, I guess you could say, their doubts, and then the movie came out, and all those doubts were erased. So, I think we could be looking at a similar situation with the Smurfs. Now, the one thing I do like about this is they're going to go through, like, multi-dimensions, multi-scenarios and everything, where basically you're going to have, it looks like it's going to be, I would say, Smurfette and Hefty, or Smurfette and Velvet, or somebody, or not Velvet, but Vanity, or somebody is going to team with her, and they're going to go across different dimensions. I mean, we got an idea in the trailer, they're going to go into a Coleco, Atari, excuse me, they're going to go into a Coleco, Atari-inspired video game dimension, a drawing dimension where the drawings look like they were done by a 4th grader or a 3rd grader, and so on. They're going to go through a little bit of, I guess you could say, shape-shifting if you will, when they travel dimensions, different forms. I'm just wondering if they're gonna have. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I'm wondering if they're gonna have a dimension where they turn into goo. You see this like Smurfette is just her eyes or her mouth, and she's sliding around like a little anamorphic, not anamorphic. What's the word I'm looking for? Amoeba-like, creature, goo creature, if you will. Anamorpheus, if you will, creature that slides around very gooey-like and everything, melty and all that. You got to wonder if her and this other Smurf are going to be like that, as well as trying to get away from the villain that's chasing them, which is Gargamel's brother, who's a new character, I believe, and I think his name is Rosamel, and everything. And then that's not the only new character. We find out that another new character coming in is the brother of Papa Smurf called Kevin. Yeah, his name is Kevin. That's it. And then we meet a group of Smurfs called the International Neighborhood Watch, the International Neighborhood Smurf Watch, or something like that, led by a character called Moxie. So that's kind of interesting in its own right. And the way they interact with these Smurfs, or they meet them, is when they cross over to our world. And I think that's the one change, the one dynamic to where, like I said, the mixed reactions coming in. Because, again, it's very similar to the first two films, with animation inspired by the third film. But the difference, the twist, is when they go into our world, it's not like what they did in the first two films. Here, they're going to interact with characters from their world. They're going to interact with Smurfs from their world in our world. They're going to interact with animated versions of Gargamel and, his brother in our world. Unless they're going to humanize them, make them, flesh and blood when they enter our world. But still, it's something to, look at. It's kind of like, okay, that's the kind of a unique twist, because they didn't do that in the first two films. But, we'll see. We'll see if that helps out or not and makes this movie probably better than people are kind of doubting it might be right now, or kind of mixed about right now, as being. But, I would say this: let's just wait. Let's just give it a chance, give it an opportunity to to shine and show us what it can potentially bring to the table. But I do feel bad for it from a box office standpoint, because even if the movie's good, it's going to get outshined by Superman the week prior, and maybe that same week. It's going to get outshined by Jurassic Park Rebirth. It's going to get outshined a week later by Fantastic Four First Steps. So I guarantee, because of that, Paramount hopefully is already thinking ahead that they're going to have to put it on digital release on all the digital platforms, come August, and then come September, maybe early October, put it out on Paramount Plus, because they know that's going to be the only way they're going to get any viewer, any eyes, any success, any financial revenue return to them, is by doing that. Because they know they're going to get crushed. Period. And again, if they do that, it's going to be a smart move on their end too, because the one thing that a lot of us may not like about them, but for them it's financially a smart move, is they don't associate with the Movies Anywhere format. Well, when you go to Movies Anywhere, it's associated with the likes of Apple, Google, Xfinity, Spectrum, I think, and it's also associated with YouTube and stuff like that. The difference with them is they don't associate with that. They basically sell or distribute the film individually, which means you have to go to all the different platforms that you use to watch movies and buy it individually. You got to go to Xfinity, buy it. Spectrum, if you got Spectrum instead of Xfinity, buy it. You got to go to Fandango and buy it. You got to go to Prime and buy it, and so on. So they probably know and realize that that's the direction they're going to probably have to go come August and September. But that's just my speculation, because when you look at where it's sandwiched, that might be what happens, and maybe Paramount, like I said, is already planned for that. But the one thing, obviously, they want to do first and foremost, before that eventually happens, is get it on the big screen to see if they can get, at least a top shot, or at least a shot at being the top movie at the box office for the July 18th weekend. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. How did you feel about the Smurfs trailer? How do you feel about Rihanna voicing Smurfette? What do you think is going to happen with this kind of like little, like a little bit of a twist on the same, format, storyline, plot from the first two? What are your thoughts on the twist of meeting other Smurfs and all that in the real world? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts of them going through different dimensions, like the Coleco or Taria dimension, a drawing dimension, and what other dimensions do you think they might end up in? Do you think we might get a dimension where basically Smurfette and this other Smurf with her are turned into basically amoeba-like amorphic or anamorphic or whatever they call it, amorphous like goo slime melty creatures? Do you think that might happen? Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are, on this whole scenario. And until next time, comment down below, like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel. Click on the links in the description to find me at all your favorite audio and video podcast affiliates like Spotify, iTunes, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Audible, Overcast. Anywhere there is a podcast, you'll probably find mine there as well. Also, check me out at rumble.com at BWRoses, at odyssey.com at BWRoses. Check me out at divanart.com at BVW1979. And check me out at inkbunny.net at BWRoses. Also, there's a link to my Teespring store. Click on that to find merchandise you can't get anywhere else. And also, check out my Patreon at BWRoses. Also, support the channel at Venmo and Cash App. And also, find me on Twitter at BWRoses and on Blue Sky, at BWRoses as well. But guys, give me your thoughts on this. How do you feel about the new Smurfs trailer? What do you think it's going to be like? And until next time, I am out.